Claudio Squaio.
Not Claudio Mena. John
No, Claudio Squaio. He's
Claudio.
an Italian with a 16-0 record. So he'll be bringing all the pasta and all the sauce.
Red hot underdogs rising tonight. Abstract and true, we bring in the fight. Talk about the game ain't just one side. Whistles blowing, sirens loud wide. Energy pumping, scheming plot. Nothing too small, nothing forgot. Boxing gloves and footy kicks. Sport and no sport mixing the fix.
Three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Anzac, and we are the Red Hot Underdogs. And with me tonight is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, never duplicated. Put your hands together for the man of the moment, Drewy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast that will never be making a comeback because it was never good enough to be considered to be making a comeback ever anyway.
Yeah, well, does that make any sense?
It does, because usually when you're making a comeback, you're known and you're revered and you're famous. No one's going, I wonder if the Red Hot Underdogs can really come back from their 15 views. So,
This is the
I think
comeback
I make a
special,
pretty
you know?
valid point.
Yeah, okay. This is
Yeah.
the comeback special. I really wanted to call this the Comeback Kings,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
Manly went and didn't, do a comeback.
No, they didn't. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out
Yeah,
there.
I would say.
Thought I'd say that off the bat. But yeah, look, interesting weekend in sport.
Yeah,
It was a bit of a comeback weekend actually for
comeback.
many.
Was it? But Comeback Kings. Wouldn't that have been a good title? But I'm not going to do it now, Drewy, because Manly lost and fuck them.
That's all right. We will think of another title after the show, but just to run through a few scores,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Dolphins beat the Eels 20 points to 16.
Great game. Great game.
Good game. Yeah, very entertaining. It just goes to show you don't have to have the best of the best on display in order to have a good game to watch. The other match, which was an exceptional game too, I thought, was the Titans 24 beating the Knights 20. Talk about comeback kings. They
Yeah.
were behind 20-0 at half time.
I know. And I actually, admittedly, I didn't watch it because I thought, look, I want the Titans to win. It's 20 nil.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. And I didn't actually watch it. I just saw the score. But I bet I'm not the only one that does that.
Oh, it was a brilliant game. Let me tell you, the nutty professor, Mr. Des Hasler, was mixing his potions and creating his formulas at halftime. And
Yep.
whatever he said or did to his Frankenstein players, they came out like absolute beasts in the second half. Important game for the Titans and for Des Hasler because earlier on during the week, it was announced that he's actually fighting for his position as coach in the future. They say that he must make the semi-finals, so that's a solid step on the way to that.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So Titans have said to him, make the semi-finals, make the top eight, or you're gone.
It would appear that way. I think if they finish ninth or tenth, maybe they might. But
Yeah.
even then, he has been given the brief that unless they really start winning and getting results, his coaching career is not assured at the Titans.
Okay. And I saw that meme too. It had a picture of Des and it said, Titans 24 winning.
Yeah.
And he just didn't look happy. It was just like, you
I
know,
think he's just relieved. I just think he's just bloody relieved. So
yeah,
usually he'd be crying. This
yeah,
time he's in a state of shock.
yeah,
Next week we might actually see him with a smile
yeah,
if
yeah.
they win next week.
Okay.
So the other game was the Rabbitohs 22 over the Broncos 14.
Yeah, come back. Yeah,
Broncos in somewhat of a slump.
yeah, yeah.
I think they've only won one of their last five games.
Yeah, well, they lost the past two, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so They lost that to the Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell had a brilliant game,
He's
so
back
he's back in form.
in form and is going to lead the I almost said Dunnies instead of Bunnies. Maybe you call it Bunnies. He's going to lead the
They
Dunnies.
were the Dunnies for a while because they were going shit, but now they're picking up a bit of steam. Brilliant 50-metre field goal from Mr. Latrell Mitchell, and a nice try on the bell playing possum with the defence.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's going well. The other one now, comeback week.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs have looked at the Titans and gone, okay,
We
you
can,
were behind 20-0.
yeah.
Anything you can do, we can do better.
And they did.
And
They did it.
they were behind 20-0 at half time and ended up absolutely flooring the Raiders 32 to 20. I've got to say, I wasn't too upset about this one.
Well, I wanted Raiders to win.
Yeah, I actually didn't.
I watched it with my neighbor, Cos, big bull
Yeah,
supporter, and we were playing snooker, and then it got to like 20 all, and he was like,
yeah.
"Oh, we better watch this." So we put the
Mhm.
snooker cues away, and we sat down and we watched it, and they really are like the Dogs are the team to beat this year, aren't they? You know,
I
the, the,
absolutely believe so
because
too.
Raiders were coming second, maybe they're
Yeah.
still coming second, or did Storm overtake them? Who knows? But for them to do that in 40 minutes really says that, I was about to say the top dog for the, no pun intended, for the premiership, but betting wise, Melbourne has a higher.
Yeah. Look, I still probably have Melbourne there, but look, the
Yeah,
Dogs are right there as a
yeah,
top three side at the moment. And listen, Stephen Crichton
yeah,
absolutely carved up the poor old hapless Raiders. I actually are going to say something right now.
yeah,
I wouldn't mind putting Stephen Crichton in as the New South Wales coach. I
yeah.
don't think that Jake Trbojevic is going to make the New South Wales squad this year,
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
and I don't think he'll be captain in it. I wouldn't
You
be
mean
surprised.
just straight from, like injury or just
No, just out of form,
okay?
not playing well enough.
Yeah, yeah,
That's my prediction, and possibly Stephen Crichton or Tedesco actually will probably be could be the could be the fullback and the captain too. He might make a reappearance. He's
it's
got to
back.
unseat. He's got to unseat Dylan Edwards. That's a task in itself. Those two are neck and neck. So very interesting things selection wise as far as New South Wales are concerned. But onto the Bulldogs, I was just so impressed because they probably played their worst half of the season in the first half. Or actually second worst. Their worst was against the was against the Broncos, but their second worst half of the season. But then in the second half, they played easily their best half of the season.
Yeah,
And it was all class, a completely different side in the second half. And poor Ricky and his Raiders. Yeah,
yeah. I know, but it was the clash of two of the best teams up there, wasn't it? When
it
does
was.
it'd be good to see when uh when I almost said Broncos, when the Bulldogs and Melbourne play, you know. Um,
Yeah, I have to look that up. That will be a very good game. That'll be a blockbuster. I
yeah.
shouldn't dislike the Raiders, but I never had a problem with the Raiders for years. But then they ripped off that clap from the Iceland
Oh, that's why you
football
don't like them.
guy,
Oh,
and then
what
and then
about
they
the
have
horn? Do you like the horn?
and they got that stupid horn. Nah, it's just
Yeah.
all
What's worse,
cheesy as
the clap
hell.
or the horn? What's worse?
Oh mate, I give them a dead heat. I can't split them at the post, to be honest.
It's
It's
not very
all
intimidating.
complete arse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't, it's just absolute cornball material. I never had a problem with the Raiders before that.
yeah.
Call me a hater, I don't care, but that's what made me turn against the Green Machine.
Clapping the horn,
Um,
understandable. It was down in Canberra too. I really thought
yeah.
you're up 20 points at halftime. Who
Mm.
would have thought they would be smashed? 32? 32 to 20, or 32
Yeah,
zero.
32-0 in the second half. The thing I didn't like about the Raiders heading into it, and a lot of people had them with high hopes against the Bulldogs, was the fact that in several other games they'd given away leads. Like against the Titans, they were behind 16-0,
Yeah,
found a way to win. Melbourne, they were behind 14-0, found a
yeah,
way to win.
yeah,
uh, Dolphins, they were behind 28 to 10. They found a way to win. I just think that you can only go to the well that many times and not have it turn against you at some point. The ironic thing about this one is they did it in reverse. They
yeah,
were 20-0 up instead of being behind this time.
yeah.
Maybe they would have been better served being 20-0 behind at half time in order to win. But there you go.
All right, next game.
The Warriors over the Dragons,
Yeah,
15-14. Funnily enough, the Warriors were leading 14-0 at half time.
yeah.
So the comeback almost happened
Almost happened.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
But a nice little field goal from Warriors Luke Metcalf, who's having an unreal season,
Mm.
put pay to the Dragons. And the next game, the Cowboys 30 and the Panthers 30. A
Yeah,
draw despite going to extra time.
yeah. Isn't that odd? Like, how many draws do does NRL get a year?
Look, I'm going to say a maximum of two.
Yep.
They often get at least one, but you never ever, I can't remember seeing three.
Was it
There
Man, we
could have
got one
been.
last year or the year before?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
going to say probably the year before, I think. I can't remember, but I'm
yeah,
going to say that there's always at least one, but maximum two a year. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the only one we see this year. Usually it's only one a year.
Remember in Aussie rules last year, Collingwood
Mm.
and Pies got two back to back,
They
and then
did it back to back.
back to
I
back
know.
got two draws, and then
Yeah.
the third game there was almost a draw as well. Like,
Yeah, they're going up by ones, doing it the hard way, but at least getting points. That was funny. And I think it's even harder to do it in Aussie rules, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
It's even more
yeah. And
rarer. Maybe I
I,
don't know, rarer, but it's hard. It's harder because
yeah,
points, you know.
this further puts the Panthers' campaign to reach the semi-finals into a bit more danger.
Yeah,
They won't be completely disappointed because they at least escape with 1 point, which is better than none, but
yeah,
they would have loved the two
yeah.
to try and make the semis. I wouldn't be sad if they didn't make the semis. You've won four in a row, Panthers fans. Relax yourself.
Yeah.
So now in the next game,
Oh yeah, yeah. Next game, huge win.
the Storm 64 beat the Paper Tigers 0.
Paper Tigers.
The
Paper.
paper tigers. They cut straight through them. In a tip to good old John Hopewadi, I guess it was a case of crouching tiger, hidden digits, because
Yeah,
they ended up with a great big chalky donut.
yeah, yeah.
Zero.
And look, I
64
didn't see that. I read a bit of about it that it broke all these records. It equaled their highest win and 11 tries. Tell us a bit about that, you know.
Yeah, so they really, really went on with the job. I believe at half time it was something like 32 or 34 nil. So the Storm onslaught just did not finish. And I believe Ryan Pappenhausen, or last I checked, he might have got more than this because I stopped watching. It was a case of referee, throw in the towel. I
Yeah,
do know that Pappenhausen picked up four tries.
yeah,
So he might be a smoky and be in calculations a little bit for maybe the New South Wales squad.
yeah.
Just putting it out there. Maybe, maybe not. But Ryan Pappenhausen, that day and that game belonged to you. And the poor Tigers, that was a bit of a fall from grace for them after winning two on the trot.
Yeah.
That is penthouse to the shit house.
Lick their wounds.
And
Go home.
yeah. And talking of licking wounds, finally, the Sharks beat the Sea Eagles for the
Oh,
second time this season,
oh,
30 points to 14.
yeah.
So,
Well, I went. which was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going the kids, and we are down 14-0. And do you
Hmm.
want to hear something funny too? I was walking up, along the field. Well, not along the field, like on the footpath. So past the hill, and as I was
Yes.
walking, Manly did that first try, which was the one that they went 80 meters, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I was walking as they were
As
running.
it was happening.
Got there.
Gotcha.
It was amazing, and then we're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah. It
crazy.
was a crappy try, but amazing try.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
amongst all the chaos,
I
it
just
was an
couldn't believe it.
accidental
It
masterpiece.
was like I was the camera, like it was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so that happened, and then it got to 14 all, right?
Yes.
And all the comments, like the commentator, oh, it's comeback round, and there was energy in that.
There was energy, but I've
Yeah,
got to say, even when we came back after being behind by 14 nil at halftime and then getting back to 14 all, I really wasn't confident
yeah,
because throughout the course of the game, Manly just too many really bad mistakes, drop balls, dumb passes, no cohesion. It really is scrappy at the moment, and it looked like a side that had had the bye and done absolutely no preparation.
yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, I had a great time.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
glad you're at the game. I actually can't listen to the Fox commentators.
yeah,
I'm going to call out Andrew Voss as my thumb down of the century because whenever I'm watching, never has there been a commentator so unbiased. We all know that it's common folklore that people go for two teams, their own team and whoever's playing Manly.
yeah, yeah,
Let me tell you, when Andrew Voss commentates, it's like the whole Manly Sea Eagles have slept with his wife or something.
yeah, yeah,
Because honestly,
yeah,
I've never seen so much shade from a commentator on a team. I've just got to push mute. So,
yeah. Yeah,
Mr.
I
Andrew
often,
Voss, I can't stand you.
I often like just turn the music off. Just sorry, commentating.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
easy to watch, isn't it?
that's pretty much the round.
Yeah,
In other news, it was confirmed this week for 2027 that the Perth Bears will now be an official entity.
great news. It's great news, and they're getting just one home game. Yeah, it went home game, like North Sydney game. Is that the home game?
Yeah. Yeah.
One home game, Perth. No, but one game at Perth. I guess will that be their home? It's got to be their home too. That's got to be their home. You know.
If you walked up to somebody who knew nothing about rugby league
Yeah,
and you said, I go for Perth, but
yeah.
I'm going to the home game in North Sydney,
North
they'd
Sydney.
be like, did you come last in geography at
Yeah, yeah,
school?
yeah. They would do. But I want to go to it. Like I would love to go see the Perth Bears in North Sydney. Have you frozen? Oh my God. No, you haven't. You just got
No. Can
stupid.
you hear me? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, it's just me. No, I was just standing still. Yeah.
Yeah. We should go to that. I would love to go there again and see the Perth Bears. I'm going for
Yeah, look,
the Bears. I think it's great.
I've got to say, and there are a lot of North Sydney fans that are coming back to the fold
Yeah.
for the Perth Bears. However, I find it strange.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. For
No.
me, I feel it's a bit like someone going on a honeymoon with their ex-wife and the ex-wife's new husband.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's been done before though. Something like
It's
that.
a bit odd, but yeah, it's
Like,
different.
could be fun.
Wouldn't that be an awkward situation? Jesus.
Um, can I just say one thing? Don't you think they should have called them the Perth Koala Bears?
Look, could have. I would have liked the Perth Pirates, but the
Yeah,
koala bears, I like the koala bears. A
Koala
little
Bears.
too unintimidating are
They're
the
not intimidating. Oh, koala.
koala bears. You wouldn't want to be on the end of a hiding and
Maybe like they
maybe
could give them
we're
fangs.
playing the koala bears.
Drop Bears. There you go. I'll change my mind. The Perth Drop Bears, because drop bears are scary. They that draw up and attack you and run. Remember those stories?
Listen, I do remember those stories, but I'm not going to sit here and be the world's #1 gold medal hypocrite
Yeah.
for saying that the koala bears would be an unintimidating name. I
Yeah.
go for an Aussie rules side called the Swans, for God's
Oh, yeah,
sake.
swans. A koala bear would kick a swan's ass, you know?
Yeah, but unfortunately, for some reason, well, not for some reason, the old Perth Bears have come under a bit of scrutiny with the Western Australian press, whether it be with newspapers or on the internet or on TV. They've been labeling them the bad news bears because it's in obvious competition with the AFL. I can only put it down to that.
Okay. So the papers are calling them the bad news bears.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the Aussie rules don't want them there.
No, they don't want them there.
I
And I
couldn't
think,
imagine like there'd be an abundance of sport in Perth. Let's be honest. I haven't been there. You been to Perth?
no, I've never been to Perth or I've never been to Western Australia or Tasmania.
Yeah.
The only states or territory I haven't been to in
But
Australia.
yeah, me, it's the only one I've not been to too.
Yeah, yeah.
Perth. I've been to Tassie, but my point is like, there's not a lot of Aussie rules games there every week, every weekend. So
No,
a couple of NRL superstars flying over and some great games there. It's great. It's great for the people. It's great. It's great for everybody, How can they not
it
be?
is good for everyone. And like I think it's awesome. I think the main sticking point and why people got a little bit snarky is that there was a whole lot of taxpayers' money
Ah,
being shelled out for the Bears. And the taxpayers are like, hey, this is a sport. We've got our teams. Why should we be paying
yeah,
extra tax
yeah,
to install an NRL club? Which I can see
yeah.
the point of their point of
Like,
being negative on the whole situation.
can I say, like, we've got these idiots in government
Mm,
running this country that are
mm.
wasting money on a lot stupider things than
Yeah,
rugby league.
that's true. That's
And,
true.
and what is better than sport and rugby league? It makes everybody happy. It's
Yeah,
healthy, it's positive, it's
yeah,
good identity. It's good for families, it's good for couples, it's good for single people, it's good for disabled people, it's good for
yeah,
full bodied, it's good
yeah.
for
I
young,
agree.
old, everybody, everybody.
Mm,
It's just like those Tasmanians, right?
yeah,
Complaining that they're building a beautiful stadium there.
yeah,
And I'll tell you why, Drew. It's because people are going to complain about something because that's what people are like. You know, they just
yeah.
can't help
I
themselves.
agree.
You know,
Forget cricket, AFL, rugby league, forget it all. The #1 sport in Australia, believe it or not, doesn't need a drum roll,
yeah,
is complaining.
complaining. It's like they're
Fake
spoiled.
outrage, being
Yeah,
miserable.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So
no. I
those
agree. I think,
people can fuck off. You know,
yeah,
rugby league brings
mm,
happiness to everybody. You know,
yeah,
and you pay a bit of taxes. Well, what do you want them to spend it on? Like
yeah.
the
Look,
garbage.
no, I think it's great. It's good for the Western Australian people.
Yeah,
Awesome. It's
yeah.
good for the
It's good
North
for everyone,
Sydney
right?
supporters.
Yeah,
North Sydney supporters haven't had a team for the last 26 years, so they can now slap the Ferrari badge on their Datsun and
yeah,
pretend they've actually got a car worth
yeah,
driving.
yeah, yeah.
So, I think we all win there.
Can we also talk about what's this guy that announced it during the week and how he did that curveball? Do you call it a curveball? It's like, oh, there'll be one group of professional sports people, and we are gonna suck players from this group of professional sports people for the Perth Bears and the Rugby Union Western force. Is that well described how he said
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
in short, Peter Volandis said that maybe we can do some sort of interchange program where at certain times we can grab some of the
My
union
dog,
players.
my dog's whinging.
There you go.
Get my
Even your
dog.
dog's whinging.
Yeah.
I've got to say though, I'll keep talking. I really don't like that idea because league is league, union is union. They're two different sports. You know, you don't get the
My
ping
dog really
pong
keep talking.
champion of the world stepping in and playing Wimbledon. So look, horses for courses. You don't get boxers doing UFC and vice versa. So I don't like it.
Okay, but
At the
let me say
moment, we're
something.
sitting there with a blank spot. But here comes Mr. Anzac with his dog.
I'll show you something you do like.
Was it?
So, look,
I
also,
forget your dog's name. What was your dog's name?
also,
Oh, g'day, Osso.
hey,
How
also,
you going?
how's it going, also?
Yeah,
Now, what do
beautiful.
you think
Beautiful.
of that bloke that wants to get a, a pool full of professional players and use one for rugby league? Oh, we'll stick you in a rugby union, and it was a
Yeah. No,
weird
it's
comment,
terrible. It's a
right?
it's a dreadful idea.
You
It's
know
a
what I like
dreadful.
about it, in his defense?
Yeah.
It's something that nobody has said before.
Yeah, but you know what? I only think it's a vehicle to drum up extra interest. I think practically they're not going to do it because they're two different sports.
Yeah.
Well, you were getting also, I just mentioned that the world ping pong champion isn't going to suddenly play in Wimbledon, and boxers don't do UFC suddenly professionally and vice versa. And if they do, the results are pretty terrible. So you
But
can put a red line straight through that idea. I
what if
think
they're like,
Mr. Landis was sniffing a bit of the white powder in his limo before he
yeah,
put pay to that microphone.
what if they were like, oh yeah, well, we need someone for a netball, like well, I know
Yeah.
the Sydney Swifts. I don't know
Look,
the
I'm just scrapping this whole idea. In short, well done to the Perth Bears. I think we move on. We look forward to the Papua New Guinean Spears in 2028. We
yes,
don't know what they're going to be, but onwards and upwards for the bad news or good news Bears, depending on what side of the country you're on.
good news. It's good news. It's nothing
It's
but
good news. It's good news.
that
You're
is,
a hater if you think it's the bad news, Bears.
it's good news.
Uh,
Yeah.
just getting on to another topic now. None other than our favourite cocaine cowboy here at the Red Hot Underdogs.
Yes, right.
Mr. Ezra Mam has
Yeah.
returned from suspension.
Yes.
Now, he wasn't in the side this week.
Um,
For people who don't remember, last year, I think it was the 19th or 20th of October last year, 2024. At 5:30, he
Five
failed a drug
AM or
test.
AM?
PM.
PM. Okay.
PM.
Yeah.
So it was either the 19th or 20th of October, one of the two. He actually drove head on over the other side of the road into a car, into an Uber driver's car
Oh yeah.
that put a woman and her 4-year-old child in hospital. Thankfully, there were no fatalities, but the 4-year-old girl did have a fractured hip.
Yeah. Wow. 10
And
minutes, cuz. One, look, two hands. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I've
So
got
for his
10
part,
minutes to go.
10 minutes from the dog. So for his part, Ezra Mam only got a 9-game suspension,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm happy he's back. People like him. Yeah, he should have got more. That's crazy. But he was off his. You forgot to mention he was off his chops on coke.
That's even worse. Like that's no defense.
Yeah.
But I actually think he should have. I think he should have missed the season. What do you reckon about that? The season,
Imagine
missing the
that.
season?
Like, like you have a car accident, and you just say to the cop, "Oh no, no, look, I'm in drinking. I'm drunk. So it's okay. It's understandable.
Yeah, see, and that's always been the weirdest thing for me, whereby if someone does something bad, sometimes people think that it validates their story more if they're drunk or off their chops. I think it makes it worse. Like it doesn't improve it,
Yeah,
to my view, but I think he should have missed the season.
yeah.
And they actually showed his face during Magic Round
Ah,
on the big screen,
yeah.
and he got a massive boo from the
Really?
crowd.
Yeah, wow.
And I think most people,
Like when during Magic?
I think it was like the second last game or something. I think it was when the
So not
when the
during,
Broncos
not
were
during,
playing the Panthers. Yeah.
uh, so during when Broncos were playing the Panthers, they showed his face and everybody booed.
Yes.
Yeah,
On the
wow.
sideline. And I can understand that because I think they've done a huge disservice only giving him 9 weeks
Yeah.
because I
So he
think,
could have come back this weekend, but he didn't.
yeah, I've got my own theory on that. It was women in league round.
Uh,
Nobody mentions that. But for me, it's no coincidence that he put a 4-year-old girl in hospital with a fractured hip and the mum. And
yeah.
of all weeks to come back, you don't want him in women in league round. But no one mentions that. But here at the Red Hot Underdog Industries, at the Red Hot Underdog podcast, we
When
dig
do you want him back?
deeper.
When do you want him
Yeah.
back? But which round? What round do you
Oh,
want
next season? Next
him?
season.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I wanted him to miss the entire. I think most people did.
Yeah.
Uh, because I think it's a human nature thing for most people to want someone to be held accountable for their things. Now, listen, I've done plenty of stupid things. We all have.
Yeah, but
No
not
one's
that
an
stupid,
angel.
you
We
know.
all have. No one's an angel, but I think people like to feel that the punishment fits the crime, and then they're more than ready to forgive someone.
So he said
Feel they've got a slap on the wrist, they're less likely to.
no one's an angel. What about Osso? Is he an angel?
He has his moments.
Yeah, at this moment. He's actually not an angel all the time. You know, he's
That's right. That's
still
right.
weird
So
too inside.
we'll
Um,
just see what happens.
Miller, he's a tool. I'm happy to hear that
Yeah.
we booed him. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, I kind of am too, because it just makes people realize the seriousness of the situation. A 4-year-old had a fractured hip, and it was a head-on crash,
Yeah,
and he failed the drug test. So he's actually had $120,000 worth of fines,
yeah,
which was $30,000 from the NRL and 9 game suspension, plus $90,000 from Brisbane,
yeah.
and he was suspended for driving after the crime for 6 months. I don't know how that works because he was driving unlicensed in the first place. So then they extended it to 9 months, but no one mentions that he didn't have a proper license to begin with. So I don't know how that works. But anyway, onwards and upwards. But just for a bit of context, it seems weird how he
No,
gets
Osso.
nine
I've got to tell him
weeks.
I got Osso now.
That's all right. Drop him off.
Here's Osso here. I'm back.
There you go. So in short,
How
I'll
long do
just
we
wrap.
have? We've got 5 minutes, cuz. Five
Yeah.
minutes.
In
Yeah.
short, I'll just wrap it up. I
Yeah.
hope Ezra Mam gets his shit together, but to show the inconsistencies of the NRL, Spencer Leniu last year, not this year, last year at Las Vegas, got 8 weeks, which is one less week suspension for calling, ironically,
Oh,
Ezra Man monkey, which has racial overtones, but nowhere near as bad as driving unlicensed
yeah. Yeah.
over the limit on drugs and putting a 4-year-old girl with a fractured hip in
That
hospital.
is crazy that
Yes.
someone gets 8 weeks for calling
Mm,
someone a monkey and
yeah.
someone gets 9 weeks for getting off your chops without a,
Oh, it's crazy.
on
It's
a coat and having whatever a huge car accident. It just
sounds like the adjudicators were the ones on coke.
yeah.
And For further reference, in 2014, Todd Carney got deregistered from the NRL for the infamous bubbler.
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't driving off his chops. He didn't put someone in hospital with a
No,
fractured hip.
no.
He just had the disgusting taste of urine in his mouth.
Yeah, but I
He
mean,
was showing the door.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's worse? You
Oh,
know?
Ezra's every day of the month.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
exactly. And
I plan on doing myself a bubbler after the
okay,
podcast.
what's worse? But what's the best?
Oh, what do you mean, what's the best?
What's the least worse? What's the opposite of worse? The best. What's the best?
Oh, Todd Carney's bubbler's better than bloody
Yeah, a
Ezra
Red
Mann's car
Hot,
crash
you
by a
know.
long stretch.
But anyway, okay, moving along.
Anyway,
Moving
moving on, we'll just
along.
quickly do on this day.
Oh yeah, we've got 3 minutes, cuz, and we've got to do
Yeah.
your next week too. So
So
on this day.
on this day in the year 1900,
1900.
yeah, we're going back a bit on this day.
1900. Jesus.
James Jeffries
Oh, yeah.
won the world heavyweight boxing title against James Corbett, Battle of the Jameses, by knocking him out in, would you believe it, the 23rd round.
Third round.
Yes.
Hmm.
Back then there were no decisions back then. You just fought until you knocked out some poor
One
bum.
team knocked out someone. Yeah, okay.
God, thank God the world has changed.
That's kind of cool though. I kind of like it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of different. So, you know, just to fill in a bit of extra time,
Yep.
there are certain boxing dates coming up for Australians
Yes.
in world titles. Tim Tszyu is likely to fight Sebastian Fundora for the WBC light middleweight title on January 20. It hasn't been confirmed, but that's the likely
January.
date.
January.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, July. Thank God
July.
you're there.
Oh, thank
Sounds
God.
like sounds like I've been on Ezra Mam's cocaine. July the 20th. My
So
bad.
July 20. I can handle
Yeah.
that. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not waiting for January.
Good save. Thank you very much. Uh, George Kambosos,
Yep.
the guy that keeps getting world title shots and
Yep.
continues to lose, but never in a dull fight, fights Richardson Hitchens on June the 15th for the IBF super lightweight title.
Yep.
Good date, June 15th, my birthday.
Yep.
And Jai Opetai will be fighting Claudio Squayo on June the 8th to retain his
Claudio who?
IBF cruiserweight title.
Claudio who?
Claudio Squayo.
Not Claudio Mena. John
No, Claudio Squayo. He's
Claudio.
an Italian with a 16-0 record. So he'll be bringing all the pasta and all the sauce and putting all the mustard
I don't think
behind
we've got time to do tips, Drewy, or do you want me to say them and then you say? Okay.
it. All right, let's quickly do it. See what I can fit
Next
in.
week, ready. Knights, Eels.
Knights,
Dogs, Rooters.
Dogs,
Dolphins, Warriors.
Warriors,
Cowboys, Seagulls.
Cowboys,
Sharks, Storm.
Storm,
Broncos, Dragons.
Broncos,
Raiders, Titans.
Raiders,
Tigers, Bunnies.
Bunnies.
And Panthers get the 2 points.
Hey, we fit it in, Jack. Beautiful.
How good
That
was
was
that?
cool.
We should do it like that every week, you know?
We should, instead of fart assing around with